Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jessica and I do beauty and lifestyle videos here on my channel. Today's video is going to be another Makeup Mommy Monday video. Last week's video I talked about mom guilt and how I was struggling with that and how my whole experience with mom guilt was. So if you guys want to go check that video out, I will leave it linked up here for you guys. But for today's video, I'm going to talk about some things that have changed in my marriage since I had a baby. Before we get into the video, if you guys haven't already, make sure to subscribe to my channel. I post new videos every single week. I also have an Instagram account. If you guys want to check me out on there, you guys totally can. I will leave all of my other social media links down below so you guys can go check me out on there. But let's just get right into the video. Just primed my face. It's gonna be a lot of noise in the background, I'm so sorry. Okay, so I'm just gonna get into this. My lighting's kind of horrible today just because it's really nasty outside, and I went to my sister's birthday party yesterday and she wanted to use my lighting, so I took it and she ended up not even using it. And I was gonna bring it back and I totally forgot it at the house, at my mom's house. So this is what we're dealing with. Nasty lighting, sorry. Last week I talked about mom guilt and how I've been like coping with that and just dealing with it. And in that video, my friend Angela, she commented if I would be interested in talking about how your relationship changes after you have a baby. So I actually thought that would be a really interesting topic. I don't really know how to go about this, so I'm just going to start talking. So before going into the whole baby situation and how that changes your relationship, I feel like it's important to know that your relationship is going to change within time. You know, I do believe that your relationship goes through seasons. You know, you start off as boyfriend and girlfriend, then you either like move in together or get married, and then you have a baby. So it goes through phases, and every phase that you go through, your relationship is going to take a shift. So when I was dating my husband, it was completely different than when we moved in. And then when we got married, it changed again. And now that we have a kid, it's changed again. So our relationship changes and evolves as, you know, we go through life. And I feel like that's okay. I don't hate it. But you do have to kind of come to terms with that things are going to be different. So I feel like that's number one. Realizing that your relationship is going to change. And I feel like one of the issues that I had within my marriage after having a baby was not understanding that things were going to be different. And yeah, within time we can get our groove back, but it's never going to be the same how it was before having Luca. So that's number one. Just remember, your relationship is going to change. Another big thing that I kind of had to come to terms with is that you're going to have to try more. I really had to like sit down with my husband and talk to him and just tell him like, hey, I know we made this beautiful baby and I know he comes first, but we can't forget about each other. And at that moment, you sometimes feel kind of selfish. At least I did, because I'm like, oh my God, why am I gonna complain? Like, obviously all the attention should go to Luca, but you shouldn't forget that you're human too, you know? Like, you want attention too, especially me. I am such a needy person when it comes to being in a relationship now. Like, I really need attention. I don't know if it's because I'm a Leo, what it is, but I am a needy person. So I had that talk with him. I'm like, you know what? I love being Luca's parent. I love being his mom. I love that you love being a dad. But we need to focus on each other too. We need to have our us time, because if we're happy, Luca would be happy. And if one of us is not, it's gonna be an issue and we're gonna see it in the house. So I feel like we just need to have, you know, have a conversation, talk it out, see what we need to do to just kind of make our relationship better. When you're dating, you're so in that lovey-dovey stage, you know, you just want to be with that person. You wish there was more time within a day to like spend time with them. It was cheesy. It was so cheesy, and I look at it, I'm like, oh my God, I was too much. I felt like before I didn't need to put that much effort in. I felt like it was just, I was happy with the way that things were. When I had that conversation with my husband, we were like, oh yeah, no, like we should do more date night. We should have some time for ourselves. but we were also just so focused on our baby, and we just want to take him everywhere. And just how I said in my past videos, like we should have our like me time. Like I needed my me time to be alone. I also need my like us time with my husband to be alone. Yes, I love hanging out with my baby, and yes, I love taking him everywhere, but sometimes it's important to have your little date nights and just not forget that you guys are a couple, because when you have a child, you tend to forget that. You tend to forget that you're a wife or a husband or a boyfriend or a girlfriend, and you just focus that you're a mom or you're a dad, and all that focus goes to your baby, and you forget about each other, and sometimes issues do arise. So I just feel like having that conversation with your significant other and just really trying in the relationship is going to make a world of a difference, because it has for me. So I don't feel like I argue, like have like serious arguments with my husband a lot, but when we do argue, most of the time it has to do with Luca, or it has to do with the way that we're parenting Luca. And sometimes we do fight, sometimes we argue, but at the end of the day, we'd have a talk and be like, okay, what's the best for Luca? But in your relationship, that is something that's going to happen. You're going to fight. Something that I did notice, and I feel like a lot of couples go through this, which is normal. It's nothing bad. Might be a little bit too much TMI for you guys, so I'm sorry. But it's the amount of intimate moments, if you will, are going to change with your significant other. Like it's going to change. You have a baby now, especially when you get a toddler. It gets a little bit harder just to have those special moments with your spouse. Before I didn't have to worry about it. I was really happy. But after you have a baby, you either get like so tired and you just want to take a nap, or you're just not feeling it, man, or you're just not feeling your best. So I feel like it's important, and I think this goes, you know, hand in hand with having that conversation and reconnecting with your spouse, just to try. You know, it takes, like I said, it takes two to tango. Just try a little harder, because you do get tired, and sometimes you just want to take a nap and you don't even want to look at your spouse. You just want to close your eyes and relax. But I feel like it is important to just try and reconnect again, because if your significant other doesn't feel like they're being valued, then that becomes an issue, you know. And I never wanted to get to that point with my significant other, so I always made sure, you know, let's reconnect, let's have our us time, because I don't want to be in that situation. That happens a lot with people that are together that have kids. Sometimes you just end up becoming roommates. You're just so worried about baby, and you don't focus on each other. That becomes an issue, and I didn't want that for me. So I just really made sure I had a conversation with my husband about that. So when me and my husband, you know, had the conversation about kids, did we want kids? Was that something that we were gonna want to do together? Like, if that's something that we wanted. He knew very early that he wanted to become a father. You know, that's something that he's always wanted to do. And I knew that I wanted to be a mom. Like, I've always known that I wanted to be a mother and have a child. So that wasn't something that we were worried about in our relationship. You know, we already knew that that's something that we wanted. But one of the things that really changed for me, the way that I viewed my husband, and I feel like a lot of people don't give props to dads, and they always, and I get it, like I'm gonna be real, like I do a lot more stuff when it comes to Luca compared to my husband, but it's just because I naturally want to take over. It's not because I have to do it. No, it's because I want to do it. So I feel like that's like a misconception that people have on dads, that they don't do enough, that they don't, like, no, my husband from the start, since the moment he knew I was pregnant, he has catered to me, just made sure everything was good. He is so involved. It's so crazy. All of my doctor's appointments that had to do with my baby, every single labor and delivery class, and just baby class before I was pregnant, and even every appointment that we have for Luca, he wants to be there. He doesn't have to be there, but he wants to be there. And I feel like that has changed of how I viewed him. I already viewed him in like a good way, but this just made it even better. The fact that he's so involved, and I love that. And that, I'm gonna be honest, I find that really, like, that just makes him 1,000% more attractive to me. And And I love that. I don't even know what that has to do with any of this. I just wanted to mention that. I just wanted to brag about my husband. So something that I feel like has changed a lot in my relationship with my husband, every single thing that I do, every single thing that me and my husband do, or decision that we make, it's always with the intention of, okay, let's think about Luca. Like, Luca is always, it's just second nature to us now. Every decision that we make, every decision that we think about, where we want to go, what we want to eat, we always think about Luca. So let's say if I want to go out to eat, I'm like, okay, where can we go where I know Luca would like to eat something there? Just because, you know, he's my baby and I need to feed him. So with that being said, the amount of times that we go out has been very little. Like, we don't go out as much. We do, but it's rare. The amount of times that we've gone out by ourselves is very rare, because one, we just love taking Luca around everywhere with us. Like, I just don't want to leave him. I don't want to abandon him. Like, he's my baby. I want to take him everywhere. But I feel like it is very important to have that alone time with your significant other. So I've been working on it. I just have like a little date night with my husband. Don't lose that little spark that you guys have. And really, like, just have some you time, get to like be with each other. But even when we don't do that, we will go out with Luca, but it's just like a little bit, it's not a lot. So we do a lot of like delivering, or we do a lot of like home cooking. I do like to cook a lot, so that's not something that I mind. But I did used to like to eat out. You know, we're the type of people that we love to go eat out, especially like seafood. We love seafood. That's Luca, sorry. But the amount of times that we have gone out has been very limited. So that's something that has changed, you know. Am I okay with that? Yeah, I am, because I prefer to have those special moments with my baby, you know. So I don't mind the change, but it has changed. I just want to talk about that, because I know for some people it might be something that they don't want, you know. You really need to have, like I said, have a conversation with your husband, or create that time to have alone. There's parents that have like date night once a week, you know. There's parents that have it like once a month. So it just kind of depends what you want, especially when Luca was like a baby. I don't know if I was a helicopter mom, if I cared too much. There's people, I guess, that don't. I'm not one of those, but I would not want to take Luca out when it was too cold, or like past his bedtime, because he had to take his naps. So everything that I did, everywhere where I went, I would go out, but I would have to leave early, just because I needed to feed Luca, or he needed to take his little nap, stuff like that. So yeah, that's something that me and my husband have been working on, just having us time, going out to dinner, just me and him. But I'm gonna be completely honest, if I had to choose, I would take Luca with me, just because I really like our little unit. I like it being me, him, and Luca, you know. Like, I like that. Why would I want to change that, you know? Like, I don't know. That's the thing, like, I'm still so new to parenting, you know. My baby's just gonna be 2 right now, so I can't really give you guys like, oh my god, my life experience as like a married person with kids, because I'm not there yet. My relationship is fairly new in the whole parenting world, you know, like, so I'm still going through like the emotions with it. I feel like the first year of Luca being born was kind of like the hardest so far, just because we didn't know what we were doing. Everything revolved around Luca, and we really did neglect our relationship for a while. Was either of us like mad or sad? No, but looking back at it now, I'm like, oh my god, we didn't even like go out as much, or we didn't really have us time. Like, we were just so Luca that we forgot about ourselves, you know. Can't touch that, you know. You can't touch that. Yeah, bye. And the other thing is that we kind of had to learn how to budget more. We would go out a lot, guys, like a lot, to the movies, to go out to eat. Like, it was just a lot of stuff, you know. So now that we have a baby, like, diapers aren't cheap, you know, wipes aren't cheap, stuff that you need for your baby isn't cheap, and we just really need a budget, you know. We've learned, and I feel like now we have it down, and it's like second nature to us. I know how to budget. I'm good with budgeting. But you know, obviously we had to learn that. So at first, like, yeah, we just cut down the amount of times that we went out, and used that money for stuff that we needed for Luca. So yeah, you make little sacrifices, but it doesn't feel like a sacrifice when you're doing it, you know? Oh my goodness. What are you doing? Oh my god. Another thing that I feel, and it's just like so silly. Oh my god, I feel like people are gonna be like, Jessica, what are you talking about? Something that changes is the way that you communicate with your spouse. So I remember when I like was dating my husband, we would say the cheesiest things. I feel like if I were to like pop out some of our messages, it would be so like cheesy and just like, ugh, like, oh my god, you guys are too much. Like, we would say the cheesiest crap to each other, you know, like, oh my god, like, my heart, my world, it is mi todo. Like, I would say all of that stuff. And now it's just like, okay, like, donde andas? Okay, all right, bye. Like, we don't even say that. And it does, I feel like sometimes I do need to like work on that, just because you just get into this whole motion of like, okay, we're parents now, and like I said, your relationship evolves. It doesn't mean that I don't love him just because I'm not sending those little cute messages. Your relationship just changes. But I'm gonna be real, sometimes I do miss that. Sometimes I'm like, oh my god, why isn't he calling me his corazon anymore? No, he calls Luca his corazon. And I'd be jealous sometimes of Luca, and I'd be like, hey, what about me? And he's like, oh yeah, you too, but more Luca. And I'm just like, excuse you. Every now and then we will do it, and I feel like it's a lot more special because, you know, we're in this motion being parents, doing all of that, and then we just have like, oh hey, don't forget we're special too. So we have our little moments. It's not as frequent as it used to be, which I kind of like though, because I feel like it was like obnoxious when we would do that all the time. And now it's like, oh, when we do say it, we mean it, and it's like special. But it's just that's just something so stupid. I do get jealous sometimes because I'm like, really? What about me? Luca wouldn't be here without me. So tell me you love me too. Like, it's just like cheesy. It's just stupid stuff, guys. I'm like laughing at it now because I would be so mad. Like, I would start an argument with my husband and he'd be like, what did I do? Like why are you mad? And I wouldn't tell him why I was mad. I just couldn't believe, like, oh my god, like, why isn't he giving me attention? Like, what the hell? And I'd be so pissed. And I wouldn't even tell him why I was pissed. Like, that, oh my god, I was so dumb. Why would I do that? So I feel like before, we would always, when I would get in a fight with my husband, I would just want him to like figure it out. Oh my god, I'm so stupid. And now I don't do that anymore because I feel like it's a waste of time. So if I have an issue with him or if I'm pissed at him, I tell him. I'd be like, hey, I didn't like what you said, or I didn't like what you do, this pissed me off, and then we just have a conversation about it. What happened? Oh, we don't have little petty arguments like that. You know, if something's actually wrong, or if I'm like mad at him, I just tell him, you know. I'd be like, hey, I didn't like that you said this is kind of pissing me off. And then we just have a conversation about it, and then that's that. So I feel like in that sense things have gotten a lot better in our relationship, just because before I feel like we would just waste each other's time, you know. We'd be like, oh, I'm mad, why are you mad? And then we wouldn't say anything, and just like, how are you supposed to fix it if you don't tell me, you know? So I feel like now our communication with each other is so much better, and that's so important when you have kids, guys. Communication is key. I feel like with these videos, I really need to create some structure, because if not, they're just gonna go all over the place, so I'm sorry. So to sum everything up, I feel like if you're thinking about having a baby with a significant other, or you do and you feel like you're having trouble, I feel like the most important thing is just to communicate with your spouse. You know, how do you want to fix it if you don't tell them what's wrong? You know what I mean? And that's something that I've had to learn along the way. I just kind of wanted my husband to figure it out, and that's not going to work. So really communicate and realize that things are going to change. Whether you like it or not, things are going to change. It might change for the better. It might change, not for the worse, but it just will make things different. You know, maybe you won't be able to go out every single weekend. Maybe you won't be able to like splurge on things that you wanted to before with your spouse. Things might change, but in the amount of times you guys are like intimate or have your little moments with each other might change. You know, and that just happens, but it's up to us to take control of that and try to go back and just keep that relationship alive. So you have to put in some effort. You do. Especially when you have a baby. It's not going to be easy, but it's worth it. So hopefully this video helped you. If you enjoyed today's video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I post new videos every single week, and I will leave all of my social media links down below so you guys can go check me out on there. But yeah, guys, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.